We gotta make this look good. Gotta go back to New Mexico with a good cut if it's gonna last you a while, just in case.
I'm gonna go see that lady and say, oh, see, this is how a professional cuts hair.
No, let's not go back to that lady. Hi, I'm Justine. I'm here at the Beardbrand Barbershop. And today I'm going to be cutting my friend Ken's hair, who came all the way from New Mexico to visit me and get his first COVID cut from me since what month?
Been a year.
It's been a year?
Yep,
there you
November
go.
of last year.
All right, let's do something.
And I apologize for the top of the hair.
Yeah, so.
Got a haircut last month because it was way too long and tried to get it layered and feathered out, and she messed it up on the top. So here to have Justine fix it.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely get it back on track. I mean, the layers on the top are very blunt cut right now and drastically different in length compared to where we want his layers to actually be. So we want to preserve at least like 90% of his length because he's still kind of keeping it long and growing. But we're gonna have to lose a little bit just to kind of reshape this and make it a little bit more of a fluid haircut. And how I'm gonna do that right now is I'm gonna start out with just a general like sectioning and start with a dry cut, and then we'll finish with cutting his hair wet and then just letting it air dry with some product in it to keep it natural.
She's gonna get rid of my Dutch boy haircut.
No more Dutch boy. What I'm doing to like his perimeter of his hair right now, I'm giving it like some decent amount of tension and pulling down, but I cut about 1 inch off, and I'm just really lightly like kind of breaking up the ends by point cutting, just so that way nothing's blunt and nothing's heavy towards the bottom, because it was definitely left a little heavy towards the bottom. So I just kind of pull it out about 1/2 inch and start breaking up the ends a little bit with point cutting. I want to see kind of exactly what I'm doing with his hair, and since it was kind of cut in a way that is a little bit just kind of like inconsistent everywhere, I want to be able to instantly see where like his like natural wave is kind of falling, where it's heavier, where it's not heavier. So to me, starting out with a dry cut instead of starting out wet is going to help me visually see exactly what I want to do and where I want to go. And then I'll go back through and spray it down and wet it and just kind of cross check all my work and make sure it's all like consistent where I want it to be. And my sectioning is very much like kind of just where I want it to be. It's not like a perfect kind of like sectioning. I just kind of know what areas I want to target first. And I'm just kind of taking it bits by bits, kind of like working up on his head, and I'll work around his head because all this is so short. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of keep like walking the layers up. So right now it's like I still haven't done this section, but there's definitely like, if you kind of look where I've like cut now, it's like a little bit like softer, a little more flowier, where this is still kind of like a little fluffy, but it's just because this layer here is still so connected with, disconnected with this layer down there. So that's why I'm trying to blend in, and then I'll take this layer and then kind of walk it up to the top. And then connect these two sides in, because that's where it gets real like that kind of Dutch boy look that he's talking about, where everything that was cut is just kind of blunt layers, and this didn't have anything that was consistent through that area. So this is my like the biggest area to like target, so I can blend into the rest of it appropriately. Whenever I pull out a good section, I'm not even taking a small section right now, I can exactly, I'll kind of see where all that extra is, where that I need to cut off. But you never want to blunt cut something like this. It just, everything will fall too bulky, and he has a lot of hair. So softening up the edges like this creates a little bit more of that flowy look. And everything I've kind of cut, I've taken sections here and kind of lightly worked around. But see, as I lift all this stuff up in this horseshoe section of his head, it's just real thick and heavy. Some parts of it aren't like cut at the perfect like angle, but you can tell how blunt everything is just sitting up here. Just real bulky, real heavy. There was no texture done at all. So we're gonna fix all that. I'm not taking any length from the top at all right now either. I'm literally just like, we're lightening it up, blending it in, connecting it with this middle layer to the top. But I am gonna point cut all the top. It's our last little section before I spray it down. You'd be glad to see all the blunt layers gone though, I'm sure. I guess a lot of people might think that like dry cutting like this would be very tedious, but I really enjoy doing it just for the instant results and seeing what I'm cutting. And when you don't want to take off length, as you can probably tell from you watching me now, I'm just kind of going in between. So you can pull it out and go straight up, or some people even kind of like fan out their sections a little bit and kind of cut between. But I think it's kind of up to you how you prefer to just point cut out your client's hair. Plus every hair texture is different. You have a lot of hair, but yours is really soft, so.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just some water with a little bit of Ruzel grooming tonic in it. This is where I'm just kind of checking to make sure the layer walks its way all the way down. Okay, all the layers and everything are where I want them to be. So now I'm just going to go back in and break up a little bit of weight here and there, just where I kind of feel it still. Well, I'm glad we kept it long this time too, because it took you a while to grow this much, so.
Yeah, and I didn't have her, she might have barely touched the end, because I told her I didn't want her messing with the length, you know, it was just mainly the stuff that was falling down on my face, you know.
So I've just got my thinning shear and I'm just kind of pulling sections where I can literally feel anything just a little too heavy, grabbing an area, combing it out and going straight kind of like just to the end and lightly, I'm not clamping down hard or anything, lightly just kind of dusting through the ends of his hair. And some people will do a lot of this stuff with a razor.
Yeah.
You can do that as well.
Yep. I've had that done before too, with people with straight edge, and that's impressive.
Yeah. I don't use a lot of like razoring on like finer textured hair. I feel like it causes a lot more like split ends.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Because the lady I used to use, that's what she would use, and she was good at it, but I think it probably did cause split ends. So.
I scooped up a little bit of the sea salt spray because his hair's still a little damp. Already has some grooming tonic in it. But I do want it to dry natural, but I wanted to give it a little texture. It does need a little bit of trimming.
That's my only gray hair, really, besides my beard.
I know, right? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is his natural color, by the way. You've had your natural color like sticking around for as long as I've cut your hair.
Yeah, it doesn't want to go anywhere. Natural. People always ask me, "Do you dye your hair?"
I know, that's why I was like, I feel like people don't believe it, you know, almost, but.
And I asked them, well, don't you think I would dye my beard and my mustache if I dyed my hair?
I mean, maybe.
It's my natural hair, yeah.
Okay, and the other little just detail area we get is like, obviously I don't want to cut into his hairline too much, but I like to get all this little bit of fuzz gone here. And you can go back in and straight razor it in a little closer to make it clean, but even though it's hiding under there, I still like to clean it up and get rid of it because it always comes back. See, and I won't blow dry any of his natural texture just so it comes back and it's not as disturbed, but I put a little sea spray in, and then as it dries a little bit, I'm gonna touch up the goatee area, and then I'll put a little bit more of like a styling balm in his hair just to give it like a little bit extra hold. You can totally just do sea spray, but we're gonna give you a little extra for styling today. So we'll wait for that to dry a little bit more and then I can style it out. So since you already pretty much groom your own beard a lot here, we're just gonna be doing some light touch-up work, just where you see some of these little random like scragglers kind of like flying away here, a few like around here, and then would you like to touch up your mustache a little bit too? Okay, we'll definitely do that.
I trimmed it not too long ago. But
yeah, it's not too bad, so.
Probably needs it again already.
We'll just
it grows pretty fast.
Make it a little nicer. And just like his hair, we're not trying to lose like real length here, we're just trying to maintain this a notch. Okay.
She's trying to make me look pretty. Uh-huh. It ain't gonna work.
I think we're headed on the right track. And since you haven't put any like balm or oil in it in a while, right? You probably need a little extra moisturizing today, so we'll definitely put a little something into the beard area as well, okay? Sometimes I'll just do like, a lot of like clipper work with it, but it just depends on my approach. Like some of this flyaway stuff here, I'll kind of like go with the grain with the clipper and a light guard on it just to kind of like trim it since there is a lot of breakage here. But I like using bigger scissors for trimming up beards because I can create, I can do more surface area with it. So a little bit of a longer like sweep when I'm cutting. The little ones I do for like a lot more detail-oriented stuff. Like, I use my little scissors when I was doing some of the like shorter point cutting on the hair. And if I wanted to do deeper point cutting, I would switch to a bigger like shear. And I've noticed that with beard trims too, for any like barber, it's kind of like personal choice what they really want to use. What's your at-home grooming methods for trimming this guy up a little bit? What do you like to use?
I just have scissors, that's it.
You like to use scissors? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We looked at a actual beard trimming deal, but I just haven't, you haven't
really
spent like $200 on it.
Yeah, committed to something.
Yeah, thinking about it, so.
That's when you got to convince somebody to treat you to something like that for the holidays.
It's like put it on the old Christmas list,
Men's grooming products and tools are always great gifts. I've come to realize. But as you can tell, his hair is almost dry completely. But even just the way all his layers are falling, it's a lot more like fluid and consistent. And we brought up his length just a little bit back here, so it wasn't so much of that original mullet look that you had going on.
No mullets.
Yeah. And the top layer lays a lot softer and won't fall towards your face as much either now. Already did Tree Ranger Sea Spray, so I'm gonna do this Tree Ranger Styling Balm. Keep the scent consistent.
Whoever knew sweat could smell so good? I did, because I've been using Beardbrand's new deodorant. Grab it at beardbrand.com.